Mould King 170.79. When you get to step 156, you can either leave one pin out and use a longer pin than I used, or you can leave it in. At step 157.59, you need to use a 3- pin in place of that, so it goes into this structure right here. And instead of using this gear and that, you need to replace it. I'll show you in a second. This gear, you need to replace it. You need to use a different piece than this. I'll show you why. Over here, you're going to reinforce it on step 167. You'll put the cross brace piece in here. I'll show you in a second. Okay. Here's the cross brace. Lots of different colors so you can see it, how it's put together. There it is. I'll show you how. You take your track apart, or when you're building it, which is easier. You take this guy, you build that, you slide it in that way, through there. Put your little brown pin in place. Pushes into there, into that pin. If you left that pin out, it'll go into that space. Once it's in, you flip these little guys down. There. Then, when you clamshell this thing together, you take your little pin and you manipulate it down into this space and you push it through and it locks those pins into place, just like in there. It's hard to see, but it works. If you come up with a better plan, good. This is just my plan. So, no, it's not easy. Yes, you have to use your brain. It's kind of a pain. Second thing, these gears is what it looks like when you're done. Instead of using the original gears, like in the book. Because if you use those gears, they slip and they kind of suck. They're also higher gearing, like all of other Mould King. You just don't have enough torque, or you have too much torque. The other thing is, when you're driving, oh look, they pop apart. Whoops. So, here's what you do. You use the 19 and the 8-tooth gear. And Lego has a form on the edge of this gear. So, you can't use the Mould King. Here's what they look like when you're done. You cannot use the Mould King piece. Because if you use that, that shape jams. Now this is not Mould King. That's something else. This is Lego. If you're using Lego, that shape jams into this pattern. Sorry, this pattern right here. It jams and it'll click. So, what I did was I cut down a Lego because I didn't have any like this that were smooth, and I used one of those. That's not smooth. That does not work. The gear will jam. So, that's what I did. If you have Mould King gears, I guess they're smooth all the way across and you won't have that problem. Anyway, upgrade that. Here's that pin that I illustrated, because when you do that, it encapsulates and that won't come off when it's spinning in there. So, also, this battery box is an absolute butt to get to. They want you to unpin this and reach in here with a cord. Get real. Or pull the whole box out to plug it in every time. Get real. Nope. So, build yourself some sort of door. That's how I built mine. Nothing fancy. I repurposed this panel over here into my cab, which is not yet done, to right here. I put the clear panel they came with down here as a floor. I gave it some structure up here. I'll finish the cab. Honestly, it just looks kind of stupid. What is it, a glass palace on an excavator? Get real. There's a lot of potential with Lego guys there. Secondly, over here, they want you to pin this in. This is a huge cavity. These things are super empty. Why would you pin this in? You can do something cool with this. I know I will. Okay, I hope that helps. Also, except for the tracks, where you don't want dirt to accumulate, lubricate everything. Lubricate everything. That's my advice. Hope that helps.